about the Messi thing.
Anything else on the Messi front, Chris, before we move on?
No, I'm done. I'm
falling out. I told you, I never want to bring this guy's name up again.
I don't know, man. This Messi thing is just a freaking mess. What a disaster.
I don't want to hear this name ever again until it's official. But they got me back.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
Chris, the Herons are back. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 96 of the Battered Herons podcast. I am your host, Daniel Granada, and alongside me, as always, is Mr. KBD. How are you doing, sir?
Well, it's a long week, baby. You know, I'm just waiting. I mean, it feels like a long week, right? I mean, we got like a full week before we play again.
It has been every 3 days for a while. Yeah, you're right.
You know, so now people aren't getting their Inter Miami fix, their Messi fix, right? Well, I mean, some people are going to have to go more than a week for the Messi fix.
Well, I mean, I think that's my favorite part of this weekend is that we're going to get a little pre-Inter Miami, like it's like a throwback. I hope the stadium's full, but I'm really expecting the stadium to be, not as full as it's been the last couple of days and all that other good stuff. But we were supposed to have Kevincho on to help preview this game, but he said that he was a little tied up. So Chris dove in and he scoured for the best barbecue host to join us. And Chris, you found somebody.
Yes, I did. I was able to scour the internet, and I found a gentleman by the name of David repping. And the thing is, David, if I'm not mistaken, you're on a podcast. And hold on, I got to change the screen here, Danny. David, what's the name of the podcast? Because I know the name of the report, but
so I am one of the 4 hosts of the Shades of Blue soccer show, which is the name of our podcast, and then we have a blog, the Kansas City Soccer Journal.
Yes, no, for sure, and thank you for coming on board, for joining us, the Inter Miami fan base here to cover the game against Sporting KC. And of course, we're not going to be, unfortunately, having Messi grace the field against you guys, but it's still going to be a good game.
Thank God. The dude's been tearing it up. Thank God.
And I appreciate your choice of headwear for the episode. I definitely appreciate that.
That's right. I was telling you guys off air. I went to the U. I'm a Miami man, so I'm ready to talk Chris Hero, Jimmy Butler. We can talk about the Heatles if we want to throw it back to when I was there. We can talk Finns, Canes. You tell me we can do it.
Well, you let me know. You can hop on. We got battered fans all over the place. We got battered Heat, battered Marlins. You want to jump on one of those battered Finns, and you jump on. We talk about that all the time. But
let's do it. Dale.
Inter Miami. So let's go. On Saturday, I'm sure that you and all the other Sporting KC fans are a little excited because without Messi, I feel like you just might feel a little better about your chances coming up on Saturday. Now, is that like when you saw that we were part of that like second half of the schedule, did you kind of like think, okay, that's a loss and we're going to move on? Or were you like, no, we got a chance, and now that Messi's not playing, we really got a chance?
Yo, you guys have given me like a real emotional roller coaster with all this, because when the schedule first came out, I'm penciling in 3 points, right? At the beginning of the year, I'm like, man, we're just going to run through Beckham FC. Like, this is no big deal. And then all of a sudden you get Messi, and I'm like, maybe he's washed. Like, maybe he doesn't have it. And then I've just been watching this dude tear up the league. And I also have to confess, I'm Brazilian, so, like, I don't like Messi. Oh. He's not the GOAT. Pele's the GOAT. I'm going to die on that sword. But he's tearing it up. And so now I'm looking at this, and I'm like, man, like, I thought that, like, maybe they wouldn't be good, and now they're great. And then I heard a report that maybe Messi might be available for like the second half.
No,
he's okay. Because
no, he's on international duty. He's in another country.
There was some reporting at the last MLS game that he might be available for like off the bench, and that they were going to release him from international duty. And then I was like, man, then I thought I was going to get a break with this guy, and now he might be back.
No, none of that's true. Now, Chris did inform me earlier before we got here that Michelle Kaufman got here. I mean, we could say that about everybody from back in the day, though. Chris was telling me that Michelle Kaufman reported that Drake Callender apparently is going to start this game, and that he's going to join the U.S. men's national team on their second game of it during the international break. So that's crazy news if it's indeed true. I haven't had a chance to fact check it, but I mean, if Michelle Kaufman said it, I mean, I trust Michelle Kaufman. So it sounds like we're gonna have Drake, and if we have Drake, we got almost our full squad.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, though, Danny, whether Callender's here or not, the good thing about the goalie position is that if one's not there, the other's going to play, right? It's not like we're going to be in a toss-up where it could be like at this point, since Joseph's not there, is it going to be Farias? Is it going to be Campana? You know, there's like multiple people that can be able to play the striker position. But with goalie, it's like, okay, if Callender's there, he's playing without a shadow of a doubt. But if he's not, it's going to Dos Santos. So either or. I mean, I guess it's I was trying to find a ways to verify what she had said, but I honestly couldn't find it anywhere. So
I saw somebody putting Marsman. Marsman isn't part of the team anymore. I mean, they're allowing him to train on our practice facility or whatnot to keep himself, fresh or whatever, but he's not part of the team, so he can't play.
Listen, guys, we're trying to say football, but it's not that easy, okay? It's not that easy. All right?
Football. Yeah, it isn't.
Don't cancel me, guys. Don't cancel me.
Yeah. All right. So, Chris just disappeared. I'm not sure what just happened. So, while he comes back, I had a quick question for you. KC, when it comes to KC, are there any like traditions or anything like that you guys do before the game, during the game, anything like that we should, keep an eye out for? I know we're not playing in Kansas City, but just in general, because we like to find out about opposing cities and opposing traditions and whatnot.
Yeah, so we have our supporters group is called the Cauldron. We used to be the Kansas City Wizards, and then the Wiz, so they called it the Cauldron. And the Cauldron's the rowdiest crew we've got. Whenever we have road games, they do a roadrun, and so they'll probably be out there trying to organize something with the Inter Miami supporters. But all of our traditions are really home centric. So we do the I Believe chant. There's kind of some built-in chants and stuff, but it's really candidly, we're having a lot of conversations with the fan base and ownership right now because the game day atmosphere has gotten kind of stale and all of our traditions are kind of stale.
Oh, okay. Now, do you think Kansas City is the heart of football here in the United States, or is it St. Louis like Rick Ball's to say?
Yeah, it's definitely not St. Louis. Okay, and our podcast is notably, our podcast and especially me are like notably anti-St. Louis. Their fans all smell like rotten Provel cheese and marinara sauce. And we beat the brakes off them the other night. So is that a rivalry? Miss me with that shit. But can I swear on here? Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, you can swear all you want, bro. I love the energy.
Look, Kansas City we're an original 96 team. We've got some trophies. We've got the longest tenured manager in the league. We've done all right.
Is that a rivalry, you guys in St. Louis? I mean, I know St. Louis just got here, but is that what you would consider your rival?
Yeah. For a long time it was Houston because we kept meeting up in the playoffs. And then after that it was Salt Lake because we beat them for MLS Cup in 2013 and then just had some really chippy fights. The league tried to make our rival Minnesota for a little bit, the nicest rivalry in MLS, but there was nothing to it. They're the closest team to us, and just naturally our cities kind of butt heads. But they're trash. They're garbage. Dog food FC.
Está bien. That's what I like to hear. Don't hold back.
Well, right, but they're doing. Listen, the St. Louis is doing pretty good, especially for like their first time, for their first year. But like they kind of got to get off that high horse. So I completely agree with David. Like they're gassed up way too much. I mean,
well, and like they're way overperforming. I'm sorry, Chris, I didn't mean to step on you.
Yeah, go ahead.
They're way overperforming their expected goals. And we saw that last year with Austin. Austin was cruising. They were way outpacing the expected goals and their underlying stats. And then this year they stink.
Oof. You hear that, Danny? That's why this year they do stink. And they lost what's his face? What's that guy? The striker up front, Danny. I don't know if you know his name. I think he's oh my God, the name escapes me. Some big white guy.
Sure.
Oh,
I'm not sure who you're talking about. In St. Louis?
I'm gonna Google big white guy for St. Louis. Yes.
Oh, João Klaus.
What?
even though this isn't about St. Louis. So go ahead and huh?
You're talking about João Klaus.
You said it, David.
Yeah. He's like a 6'5" Brazilian.
That guy was a monster in the beginning.
He is, yeah.
Yes. He was a
All
monster.
right, so Kansas City. You guys didn't start very well. You guys started picking it up. What do you got to say about Kansas City up until this point of the season? Like, what's been the story on the team?
It was bad. It was real bad to start. So we were missing 2 designated players to start the year. Alan Pulido and Gadi Kinda, our 9 and our 10, both had major knee surgeries, missed all of last year. And so they didn't start the season with the squad. They were working their way back from injury. And so we started the season like 7 losses, 3 draws, no wins. But since Alan Pulido's back, in matches where he's played, we're averaging 1.7 points per game. And so the return of those 2 guys really helped things out. Although Gadi Kinda's off on international duty right now.
Well, but now and when it comes to, because I was looking up the schedule, and you guys are in what place are you guys are in the standings at the moment?
I think we're 11th. Yeah, 11th, but it's like a tight pack. Like
I've noticed
the West sucks. The West sucks.
Yeah, the West does suck.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got a couple big games coming up. We've got another one against St. Louis, but there's 2 against Minnesota to kind of see who's going to sneak into that bottom playoff spot.
So this is one of those games that's like do or die for both of us, right? We both need it desperately because we can't afford to lose too many more games coming up. So I guess you kind of answered it, but I want to see who else. Who else is you missing on international duty? Because I mean, obviously, that's going to be one of the main stories for us. For you guys, who are you missing on international duty?
So, missing Gadi Kinda, designated player number 10. Sporting plays not with a true 10. We play with like kind of dueling 8s. And then we're missing one of our U22 wingers, Marinos Janis, who's from Cyprus, but he doesn't really play. He's kind of our 3rd winger off the bench. He doesn't get a lot of minutes, so he's not really a loss. But other than that, nobody, because, when your team's trash, you don't get a lot of call-ups.
Okay. Well, but, I mean, that's a big player to lose out, so that should be a positive for us. All right. We have a lot of new people watching this show, obviously, for obvious reasons. So a lot of our new viewers aren't very familiar with MLS, throughout the league, and they're just getting accustomed to it. So whenever we have somebody on, we like to ask, is there a player that you would say you should probably look out for this guy? It's not a household name, but look out for this guy. He's going to stand out when you watch him on Saturday.
Yeah, so Alan Pulido, our designated player number 9, is definitely, I mean, he's the best player who's going to wear the kit. He plays kind of almost like a 9.5, right? He's got the freedom to roam, and he'll drop into the midfield to pick up the ball. But he's a true striker, and he can strike with both feet. He can place it. He's got a lot of skill. He's not like a pacey guy, but he's just got a lot of skill and a lot of touch. He's great. Johnny Russell is one of our, he's a designated player winger from Scotland. He's starting to slow down a little bit because he's on the wrong side of 30, but you may see highlights of him from time to time, like putting guys on skates and sliding in and out. And then our midfielder to look out for is Eric Tommy. He's a German designated player. He got brought in last summer when we were missing Gadi Kinda. And he's much more attack minded. So he can put in a shot. At one point he was leading the league in shots. And he's got a lot of skill. He can put in a good pass. He can shoot, and is definitely dangerous in the attack.
Chris?
No, and I was going to mention, just talking a little bit about how Sporting KC has been doing so far without mentioning some of the players. I mean, Danny, I don't know if you've looked at the last couple of games, but the last 2 games since the Leagues Cup, so they've won those, and it looked like handedly. And then before the Leagues Cup, they had tied 3 games. They won 1, and then they lost 2, but both of those were by 1 goals. So you guys haven't really been doing too poorly, and you guys have been playing some pretty good competition. I mean, I see Chicago, Houston Dynamo for whatever they are, LAFC. You guys sort of kept in contention with them. Austin, you beat them earlier in the season and then lost by 1 goal. So I don't see Sporting KC as much of a pushover as a lot of people do, Danny. David, how has the fan base seen this team playing? How have they seen them in terms of the last 2-3 months?
It's the results have improved since the beginning of the year. I think a lot of people are still pretty mad. The team made the playoffs so many years in a row. We missed the playoffs in 2019 and then made it back in 2020, 2021, missed it last year, and then started terribly this year. So the front office kind of pissed off a lot of fans. The results have improved, but I think, Sporting doesn't make the playoffs. I think, the seat couldn't really get any hotter for Peter Vermees.
Well, and Danny, go ahead, Danny.
No, I was going to ask, does Ted Lasso ever go to those games?
He lives in New York or LA, but
I know,
did
but
go to my
in
alma mater,
Kansas City?
right? But but
like
Jason Sudeikis is from Overland Park, Kansas, which is where I am right now.
So I thought
he's not.
That might be his squad. No,
he's not around much. I think the last time I saw him, he was at an LAFC game.
I saw that.
I felt betrayed. I felt deeply betrayed.
I thought he was a KC guy.
And just and before we keep talking, like real life Sporting KC stuff, like just to sort of break up the monotony, do you think that the next season of Ted Lasso, if there ever is one, do you think that it may take place him being the coach for Sporting KC?
Well, I don't want to give spoilers for how the season ended. Has it been over long enough that we can talk about this?
I think it's been like 3 or 4 months.
At this point,
you haven't watched it.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right. Well, hey, I don't know. I'm just making sure. I'm not trying to get you guys in trouble.
Mute it for the next 2 minutes, guys.
Well, so like the end of the show is him coaching like Little League Soccer, right?
In Kansas, though.
Yeah, and so like I would kill to watch that because like I'm coaching my kids. I have twin 4-year-old boys. I'm coaching their team for Sporting Brookside, which is one of the neighborhoods in Kansas City. And so like I would love for him to film and like have all the Karens and like all the angry parents out there yelling at like the 16-year-old ref for like 7-year-old soccer. Like, oh my God, I'm here for that. That'd be great.
Yeah, no, I always thought that because he was back in Kansas, MLS has this partnership with Apple TV. Ted Lasso is on Apple TV. I was like, they might. And then MLS is shooting up popularity. Maybe they'll do a spinoff where he takes over Sporting KC, his home squad. Like, I don't know. I just kind of saw that it's a possibility. I think like Chris said, I think that would be pretty cool.
We don't have a Jamie Tart. We need somebody who can coach some skill set.
Yes. And Sean mentioned here that he said that he wrote it to have an ending. So I imagine that he wanted to just end it last season, Danny. But I mean, at this point,
he didn't want to keep going.
Yeah.
Money talks. All right. So moving on to Saturday. As far as tactics and formations go, how is it that you guys, one, usually line up, and two, you guys play high press, mid block, low block? Are you guys usually looking for the counter? Like, what is it that we have to expect here on Saturday when we play against Sporting KC?
So Sporting KC will always, almost, no matter what, roll out in a 4-3-3. We play with a single pivot at the 6 and 2 dueling 8s. Sporting wants the ball. They're going to try and possess. They're going to try and build up. We've got 2 of the longer build-up pass sequences leading to a goal in the last 5 years. 17, 18, 19, 20 passes to build up. You're going to see a lot of counter pressing. So losing the ball and then immediately trying to counter press to win it back. But they're not going to bunker and counter. A lot of fans have been calling for that as our defense is really leaky, but they're going to play a high line and try to pin you into the box. If Miami kind of bunkers in, you'll see Sporting lob in 800-900 crosses, which is usually pretty unsuccessful. But that's what you'll see. The team plays to wherever the space is. So when teams kind of bunker and pack into the middle, everything gets funneled out wide and then crossed in. But if there's any sort of space through the middle, they're going to want to try to play through the middle and try to play through Alan Pulido.
Well, against us, you might have a little bit more luck than you'd expect from those crossing patterns and from set pieces, because we are absolutely brutal in those 2 categories on defense.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll see. We don't have a big squad though. We've got one guy who's really a target man in the air. And other than that, it's hit and miss.
Right, because we've given up the most set piece goals this year. We have 15 goals surrendered off of set pieces this year. So If you're gonna score off a set piece, it's gonna be this week. I promise you that.
Yes, it will be.
All right. So when we're talking about KC, you said that they lob in a lot of balls. What would you say is Sporting KC's strength? Like, where do you think their strength is on this team?
You know, we possess the ball well. Most of our players are pretty press resistant. They're going to play a lot of triangles to try and build up. And then if they can get service to Alan Polito, I mean, that's the strength of the team. Eric Tommy to Alan Polito, that's the strength. Johnny Russell, if he can get going, you know, running in at attackers off the wing on a diagonal, that's the strength of our team. We just got our keeper back after a few months. I'm sorry, I just got distracted by Mike talking trash on Cavincho.
Well, I'm sorry. We had somebody ask because we had said that Cavincho was going to be on, but there's like a media game or something. So something's happening.
Yeah, there was like a game for the media members or something like that, and they ended up going out and playing and stuff. And so I was able to catch a little bit of video. That's why he wasn't able to make it.
I will go for Kevin. But yeah, so we finally got our keeper back. We've been playing a couple kids for a while, but Tim Melia at one point was probably the best keeper in the league, second best keeper in the league. So having him back has been good. He's a good shot stopper.
So you think, okay.
Not anymore. Not top anymore. No. Was.
Okay.
Was.
Okay.
He's like 36 years old, man. Like
yeah. Okay.
He's still got some juice in the tank, but like it's mostly been squeezed.
Got it. Okay, I was about to start questioning you about that. All right, okay. All right. So if we're talking about weaknesses, right? If you're gonna go up to Tata and you're gonna say, "Look, I got money on Miami winning this game, but I'm gonna help you out. This is how you beat Sporting KC." What would you tell Tata? Like, what is the recipe? This is how you're gonna beat Sporting KC.
Counter. We have two center backs. We've got Danny Rosero, who is fast. He's athletic, but not necessarily the highest football IQ, and can be beaten by a good through ball. And then Andre Ufantes, who came out of Barcelona. He and Messi actually played together and came up in La Masia together. But he is glacial. Like, I can outrun that dude. And we get just scorched on the counter. Balls over the top, through balls, like weighted through balls. Our fullbacks are okay. Our right back is a homegrown kid who is a converted midfielder. We have Graham Zeus, who used to be on the U.S. national team, but he blew out a hammy. And so we put in this kid, Jake Davis, who's been good, but especially for his first year starting, but he's not amazing. But counter. We're going to play a high line, and we're going to get roasted.
No, I mean, we're not necessarily with Farias, we might take advantage of something like that, but for the most part, we don't necessarily have top end speed either. Jordi Alba on the wing.
You don't need it. I'm telling you, man. Like, the three of us, if the three of us and Andre Ufantes raced, we would finish 1, 2, 3, and he'd finish 4.
It sounds like Christoph, Chris. It sounds like Christoph.
It does sound like Christoph, because even Miller, when he gets charged, he's rolling, right? There's no stopping him. But geez, that's gonna be rough.
Yeah, because Fontes, his strength was being a Barcelona guy. He can pass. So a couple years ago, he led the league in goals added because he's such a decisive passer. But like, he's playing center back, he doesn't defend that well.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, Danny. Now, before we move on to the next subject, Danny, since we're going to have a lot of players that are going to be missing due to, they're playing for their country and stuff like that, I wanted to get an idea of what you think, who's going to be playing this Saturday. Because that's what I've been kind of working on in the last 10 minutes, just trying to construct like this team that I think might be playing on Saturday. And I wanted to get an idea of who you think is going to play on Saturday.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I was doing the same thing, but luckily, and I don't know if Don Cafecito is watching right now, and if he is, shout out to Don Cafecito, because Don Cafecito kind of saved me the hassle of having to start to kind of do this, because he literally posted the pictures of exactly what I thought might happen. So here it goes. So this is what I think. I think we're gonna come out in the same formation that we came out with last Sunday against LAFC. 5 in the back. The only change is that Kristoff isn't going to be playing, and instead of Kristoff, you move Miller to the middle, and you have Noah Allen playing left center back, which I think is fine. So we're good in the back 5. Then Arroyo apparently didn't get called up. So we still have Arroyo. We have Busquets. And then Ulloa, I guess, would have to be the fill-in because we don't have Diego Gomez or Benja. But I'm okay. Ulloa, I'm not a big fan of, but that's fine. Farias is balling up top. And then without Messi and without Joseph, Campana gets the start next to Farias. I'm sorry, but this team with Callender in goal, I think we have a great chance of winning because I don't think much has changed from the winning recipe. I understand Messi changed. Yeah, I get it. Messi, I understand before I get canceled. I understand Messi is the guy. I get it. But
listen,
I do think that this squad is still stacked.
Listen, the both of you are treading you got to tread lightly, guys. Danny, you're about to get canceled for the slander, for the Messi slander. And then David's about to get canceled because he thinks Pele is better than Messi, hand down, man down.
Yeah, let me tell you something, Chris. I can't get canceled because I don't have Twitter. You can't you can't get at me. I don't have Twitter.
Don't at me.
You can't. But let me ask you real quick. Because like I think this is gonna say a lot, not so much the formation, but the tactics about like how the game's gonna go. If Miami plays a true 5 at the back and you're gonna put 3 in the midfield, I don't know that gives an advantage to Sporting, but that helps Sporting, right? Like we're not gonna get swarmed in the midfield. But if it's more of a 3-5-2 and those wing backs, if Alba and the other guy who I already forgot who it was. Yedlin.
They're constantly pushing up, yeah.
If they're gonna push into that midfield and it's gonna be like a 3-5-2 and you can create overloads in the midfield, that's where Sporting's gonna be really susceptible. So I'd be curious to see. I mean, you're at home. I would anticipate you guys are gonna want to push the action. But you guys know better than I do what they're going to do.
Well, Yedlin and Alba rarely ever push towards the middle. They stay wide. But with Busquets kind of pulling the strings there, my only thing is I don't know what we're going to do with Ulloa and Arroyo are both true CDMs. They're both true 6s. And Busquets needs somebody to push up with him. Like Benja and Diego Gomez kind of push up along with Busquets. So we usually have those 2 midfielders that are kind of pushing the ball up behind the forwards, and we have 1 6 staying back. But in this case, Busquets is going to be pushing the ball up because Arroyo and Ulloa have no skill. Okay, they aren't as skilled as the other players we have. Okay, so I'm kind of wondering how this is all going to work out because I can't imagine Busquets pushing the pace all game every day, but I don't think that we're gonna have our wing backs pushing in the middle. So no, I don't think you have to worry about us crowding in the middle.
Well, and one of the things I do want to mention, like I said before, David, is that the 2 things that hurt us are the crosses and the set pieces. As long as you guys don't have too many of those, I think we're gonna do pretty good. Now, I just wanted to get to a couple comments here because Edward mentioned plot twist. He thinks after tomorrow's game, Messi's gonna come back ASAP because he loves this club so much. So that way he could play against Sporting Kansas City on
highly doubtful.
Well, it's not Sunday, it's Saturday. But hey, look, if it happens, it happens.
I would never want to categorize an entire group of people a certain way. That's really problematic stuff, right? But here's what I know about people from Argentina. They love playing for their national team. And that probably takes priority. So if we're gonna stereotype anybody, Argentinians love the national team.
Now, this comment I wanted to get, and you're 1,000% correct. If I mean, every home game, we're seeing more Argentina jerseys just by the boatloads. So I mean, they live and die by it, by the football. Let me just get that before you guys start, sticking a fork in me. Mitch mentions if Stefanelli is ready, this could look interesting. And I'm going to cover your face really quick, David, because Danny, found a website that lets me make a lineup. Let's see how this goes right here. And boom, bam, Uncle Sam. Right? We have Campana at the top. To me, I think Stefanelli is going to start on the left. Farias is going to be on the right. Arroyo, Busquets, and then Ulloa behind them. And then you got Jordi Alba on the left, Yedlin on the right, Miller and Aviles and then Callender / Santos, whoever plays goalie at the time. I think that this is how it's going to be. I don't think that they're going to do the right wing, left wing deal like we had last game. I think that was like just a special thing that they did just to be able to play Farias and Messi. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you think otherwise.
I definitely think that if they go with the whole Arroyo, Busquets, and Ulloa midfield, that they're going to play a double pivot, because Arroyo and Ulloa will be lost up top in the final third, or even in the second half of the mid. If they go a 4-3-3
Okay.
again, courtesy of
Very
Don
similar. Very
Cafecito.
similar.
Right, Don Cafecito. Along the same lines, Stefanelli out on the right, Farias on the left. And like I said, I think Ulloa and Arroyo, it's going to be three in the middle, but I think Arroyo and Ulloa will stay back a little bit, and Busquets is going to be pushing the pace a little more forward. But I do think that they'll come out with five in the back. I really do.
So you have a very similar like mine's.
Yeah, if they go 4-2-2, that's how I think it'll look. And off the bench, I think we're going to see Robbie Robinson, which Robbie Robinson. There's nothing wrong with Robbie Robinson.
Robbie Robinson. No, there's nothing wrong with him, but it's Robbie Robinson. I mean, it is what it is, right? Robbie Robinson, you get what you get, and you don't get upset. I mean, anybody else that's coming off the bench, to be honest, I mean, I was looking at some of our bench players. I mean, the only other person that I can think of that's coming off the bench that we're not expecting is maybe Mota. But remember, they haven't put him on the bench since he started. What, like 2 games ago?
I don't understand what the hell's going on with Mota. It's such a weird.
I mean, that's so weird. Everything that's happening with Mota, like, and supposedly it was
maybe they were saving him for this week. Yeah, maybe they were saving him for this week because they knew that they would need some depth this week. So maybe he will be available. Now, for those asking about Callender, up until like an hour ago when Chris contacted me and let me know about Callender, I thought Dos Santos was starting and Callender was going to play with the U.S. men's national team. But apparently, Michelle Kaufman reported that Drake will be playing on Saturday, and then he's going to join the U.S. men's national team. Now, I think that makes a huge difference in the outcome of this week. Very simply, our defense, I don't care who's back there, we're just not good. Like, we just aren't. We surrender so many shots. If it's not for Drake Callender, we lose. We don't win the League's Cup, for one, and we've lost a bunch more games than we have already. So Drake Callender, and at least I've said it on this show, I think Drake Callender is literally the second best player on this team. And if Drake Callender isn't playing, you are now missing your top two players, Messi and Callender. So if Callender is playing, that's a huge relief for us because we need him, because without him, we're in trouble.
So can I'm sure you guys have already talked about this because it's your club, but Sporting had a similar thing. Tim Melia, he was a pool keeper for the league. We brought him in, like he just worked for MLS, and we brought him in as a backup, and he ended up being a beast and won a job. And like, he's arguably the best keeper in club history. Callender was like a third string keeper, right? And then kind of out of nowhere has just like exploded. And now he's getting national team call-ups. Like, how cool has that been to watch?
Yeah, because he was on the team the very first year. He was on the team. He's like him, Robbie Robinson, and Victor Ulloa, the only three that are still here from the inaugural season. And then he was the third string. And then last year, because Marsman, I don't know if he went down with like a sickness or an injury, he finally got the chance.
Injury. Yeah.
He got the opportunity and he played so well. He just never gave up his spot. And it was awesome, man. It really was. And I don't think anybody expected it when he first got on the pitch, but it's been fun to see. And yeah, man, that is awesome. What we got to see Drake Callender kind of just develop in front of our eyes, and the fact that now he's getting national team calls up and stuff, it's really cool.
Well, and I think it's interesting though, Danny, because a lot of people really did that were watching Drake Callender closely. A lot of people saw him and said he has a ton of potential. He could potentially be the guy in between the sticks for this team. And a lot of people like Nick Marsman and his footwork and all that stuff, but like he wasn't favored in the fan base or in the organization. I mean, favored enough to make a big fat check, but I don't think that he had a lot of for Nick Marsman.
I mean, I think everybody liked that he was good with his feet, right? He wasn't the best shot blocker, but Phil Neville liked to play out of the back, so he had a pace on. He had a place on this team. Yeah, he got paid way too much, especially for his skills. David, I had a quick question for you before we get into Saturday's predictions and whatnot. Are you part of the side that says Messi is good for the league, or are you part of the MLS fan base that's annoyed by the whole MLS thing and think that what's happening right now isn't good for the league?
You know, I'm torn. I actually feel both ways, kind of.
Okay.
I think the league has gone a little overboard. Like before Messi had even actually signed, right? He had said like I'm coming, but hadn't signed a contract, and like the whole front page of the league website was Messi, and I'm like, yo, they're playing games. Like there's transfers happening. Like what is going on? You know, you've pushed everything behind this guy who hasn't signed a deal yet. And like there was reporting that, you know, Saudi Arabia was offering him like his own part of the country and like 600 like virgins and like whatever. And so I was like, you know, come on. Like I get why this is transformational. I do.
Yeah.
It's the second best player of all time. I got to keep poking at people about that. But like, you know, it's a trend. I get it. Like this is way bigger than Beckham. This is way bigger than Zlatan. But at the same time, like they are drowning out every other team in the league. But also, you know, dude came in and he's been killing it. So a lot of that hype ends up getting justified. My hope is that he shows, hey, listen, Mauro, I don't want to hear it. All right. He's no Pele. You know, my hope is that this convinces other elite talents from Europe to, instead of going to Saudi, come to MLS before they're washed. Like come when they're like 32, not when they're 39. That's my hope.
That's only going to happen if they figure out a way to pay these guys big money. You can't compete with the Saudi money that they're throwing at them.
It's insane.
Nobody that's sensible would offer that much money. Who's going to pay Benzema at the age of 57 to go to pay? How much they're paying him? Like 200 million or some ridiculous amount. Like
yeah, it's ridiculous.
So we can't compete with that. What we have to offer is I mean, a better lifestyle, I would assume, right? If anybody here is watching from Saudi Arabia, I mean, no insult to you, but I think that the American lifestyle is more similar to the European and South American lifestyle, so it might be more comfortable to come play over here, and then sponsorships, because I don't know where to watch those Saudi Arabia games. I've said this a million times. I have no idea where to watch them, but you come play the MLS, you're still global because everybody can still watch you whenever they want.
So. Yeah, and I mean, and it's hot here. Like Kansas City gets super hot, and we don't have the ocean, and like. I mean, part of why I moved away from Miami was that I had to wear a suit in August in downtown, and that sucked. But like, it's still not Saudi hot. Like, it's crazy over there.
Yeah.
Well, and the worst part is, Danny, in terms of like MLS deals, like you're not going to have people get offered the same deal that Messi got. I mean, I don't even think it's going to be remotely close. Like, who's going to get a percentage off of Adidas sales? Who's going to get a percentage off of, you know, what is it? Apple, you know, Apple Plus, whatever memberships. You know, nobody's going to get a percentage of a team. Like, I don't know what they're going to do to be able to bring in these big names before they decide to retire. But I think that they're going to have to figure something out, because percentage deals, that's just not going to be consistent enough.
No, I mean, not necessarily that, but I mean, how many sponsorships can you get when you come over here? Like, imagine Erling Haaland comes over here, Head and Shoulders would jump on his ass right away with his beautiful blonde hair. Like, there'd be so many sponsorship opportunities for everybody that comes over here. And I get that you can get sponsorship or deals over there. I get it, but like, it's a marketing machine over here in the States. So yes. I think that would be one appealing thing, especially if you're on the wrong side of 30. And eventually it's going to get down to your late 20s and people are going to just want to come play over here.
I think I saw somewhere, you know, MLS is the sixth highest paid league in the world, I think, behind like, I think that's what it is. On average, it's the sixth highest salary in the league behind like the EPL, Bundesliga, Ligue 1, Serie A, and La Liga. I think, you know, like MLS is paying better than the Portuguese league, the Austrian league, all them. So,
look, I stick with the fact that we're gonna be one of the top leagues very soon. with the World Cup coming over here and everything, the attention that we're getting over here, we're gonna keep growing.
Yeah, the exposure is immense. Why is it? Hold on, I need to mention this because here comes Bearded Fanatic. If anybody that's watching is a Dolphins fan, please follow the Battered Fins Fans podcast. Okay, guys, do yourself a favor, and while you're at it and you're here, put that thumb to work, like and subscribe. Boom, boom, boom. See how fast I just did that? You can do it just as fast, if not faster. I promise. I'm not gonna grow my beard, Manny. I'm done with that. I gave myself a haircut, by the way, just in case anybody's wondering. I just gave myself a haircut. I didn't want to go to the barbershop, so.
Really, you gave yourself a haircut?
Yes, I gave myself a 1.5. So.
Oh, and you try to fade it?
Yeah. I just used 2 mirrors. Yeah, man.
Oh man, that must look so bad.
No, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's pretty good.
It's so bad.
I've done it already like maybe 20, 30 times. So it saves me. I mean, now that a haircut's like $30-$40 a pop, like get out of here.
If it came out good, you would have never gone back to a barber, but you still go back to barbers, right?
No, because they do the lineup better, right? I don't have my Andis anymore. My Andis is messed up, so I got to buy my Andis machine again. Yes, Mitch, quote unquote, the prison cut. Correct. Yes. Yes.
Yep.
I am playoff ready.
I could never find a good barber down there, man. Like I'd get my hair cut right before I left, and like it would just grow. I got this big old Jufro if I don't tame it. Yeah. And like I got a rec from a buddy who lived out in Sunrise, and he was like, "Yo, go to my place. Like you'll love it." Blah blah blah. I show up. They just never called me up to get my hair cut. So I run like a Sport Clips, and it was like one of the worst haircuts I've ever gotten in my life. Ooh, and then I went to a different barber shop down in Coral Gables, or not, South Miami. But the guy like spent like 45 minutes lining me up in the front, and then tried to sell me like an iPod Touch. I was like, I don't know where this.
Hey man, don't knock the hustle.
I was like, what truck did that fall off of? So like, yeah. I could never get the hair squared away down there, man.
All right. Oh man.
No, that's crazy. I can imagine that, Danny. Before we get, now that we're talking at the end of the show, we're getting to the end of the show, guys. Let's go ahead and talk about predictions. Mm-hmm. Maybe I shouldn't have broken that up, Danny. So let's see.
That sounds right. Mm-hmm.
It did not, but syllables and stuff. So let's start off with you, David. What do you think the ending is going to be for Inter Miami against Sporting Kansas City this Saturday?
I'm going to be a homer and an optimist, and I'm going to say 2-1 SKC.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Everybody is just going like shutout. We got Zayar with the 2-0, Morrow with the 4-0, Clara with the 3-1. Danny, what are you predicting? Because I'm about to blow it out of the water, right? Like, yeah. I'm going to give an astronomical no. I can do that now, and then you can just balance it out.
Go for it.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that this game is going to be 3-2. That doesn't sound that bad, right, Danny? 3 goals to 2.
Not at all. That's not bad at all.
That's not bad. I think it's going to be 3-2. I think it's going to be high scoring because I think defense is just going to be terrible all over the place. And I think that Campana is going to be a heavy part in this game. I think that he's definitely going to play a big part in this game. And I think that he's going to start to get into favor. And I think this is what it sort of takes in order for him to get into favor. Unfortunately, since Joseph isn't here. And I think he's going to have a lot of goals, at least 2.
Well, I think the fact that that he said that you guys like to possess the ball, I think it's going to be one of those like really monotonous games where you guys start passing the ball around for a while, and then we get the ball. We also like to hold possession, so we'll be passing the ball around. Not a lot of counters, but I think there will be a counter eventually, and that's how somebody leads to a goal. When news started. Not news, but when people started talking about all the players that were going on international duty just a week or 2 ago, everybody was saying like, okay, we got to make sure we beat everybody coming up before Sporting KC because we're going to lose that game. I never
Yeah.
thought we were gonna lose. I thought we could be Sporting KC with Edison Ascona playing like goalie. Like I think that we should win this game, and I think we should win it handily. I don't believe in Sporting KC. I don't believe in their old goalkeeper, and I think that we're gonna win. I'd say 2-0. We're gonna get a shutout. I think 2-0. And yeah, I just don't believe in Sporting KC. And I've been saying that for so long for the last 2 weeks. I've been pretty much shitting on Sporting KC that I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden this turns around and looks really horrible on me. But I've been shitting on you guys consistently for the last 2 weeks, and I can't imagine losing to you guys.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. We haven't inspired a lot of confidence over the year.
And Campana finally gets on the yes. I think Campana scores. Go ahead, Chris.
So you don't think it's gonna be 7-2 like Mike V thinks?
No.
7-1
No,
like Vinny
no.
thinks.
No.
That's a lot of goals, man. That's a lot. We're not that bad. That's a lot of goals.
And somebody here predicted, and I put it up here for like a second. Somebody predicted that Callender was gonna get a goal. I love it.
Well,
I love this
like-
chat. I love you,
like-
chat.
Look, Broward Heron said my big mouth is gonna get us, and now, I if you've watched this show enough, you know, out of the two of us, I try to be more realistic with my predictions. I rarely go out on a limb and just predict something crazy, but I just don't see it. Would you want me to lie to you? I just can't see Sporting KC beating us. I think they suck.
I'm gonna send all this to the team. I'm sure that's the bulletin board material they need. And be like, yo, Danny's an asshole. Like, let's go out and beat these dudes.
Yeah. Well, Chris will be yelling at them from our seats. We're right behind the goal.
Yes, all I do is just yell at the goalie and call him all kinds of bad names and stuff.
No, Tim's a
So-
nice guy. You know, he's got
I
a
don't
family.
care.
Come on.
Look, he's
Look at
also
this.
45 years old, apparently, according to Mr.
8-0 enter because he says Pele is the GOAT.
Krabs. Wow.
Dude, your commenters are great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, they're always on point, man. The chat is phenomenal. Now, we usually ask about supporter traditions, but I think you covered that a little bit earlier in terms of.
the show, huh?
So, do you have any questions before
No,
I get into the?
Yeah, let the chat. If you have any questions for David, ask them now while Chris gets geared up to ask his stuff.
Listen, by the way, chat, go ahead and load up the questions because remember the question that I always ask the guests, right? We got that one coming up, and I got a new picture for you guys. So,
Oh, and real quick, I said 2-0. I didn't realize that Kansas City has given up the second most penalty kicks in the league. So apparently, you guys aren't very
Oh, we like to foul in the box.
disciplined.
We're
Yeah,
good. Yeah, we're very
So
good
you
at
guys
fouling
aren't
in the
very
box.
disciplined. So I'm gonna
But-
say 3-0. Campana scoring on a penalty kick.
Well, hold on though. Tim Melia is, if he's not the best penalty shot stopper of all time, he's second to Nick Raimondo. But dude is
Oh, yeah, he saved
a PK
two
legend.
so far. Yeah, he saved 2 so far this season. Okay,
I
he could kick your ass, but yeah.
so
he's saved 2
can
so far
I
this season.
can I just start responding to some of these, or you want to call these out?
Oh,
'Cause
no,
I
no,
got-
go for it.
I'll bring out the first one. So Mike V is asking, why is Jack Stacks the only good barbecue place?
It's not even top 5. You've got Slaps Barbecue. You've got Oklahoma Joe's, which is now called KC Joe's. Q39. Like Jack Stack is, I mean, maybe top 5, like maybe 5th if we're being generous.
Ooh.
But it's better than anything I ever got in Miami
Oh, for
or
well,
Fort
there's
Lauderdale,
one-
and especially
Oh,
not
fuck
both.
that.
And especially
Shivers
not
will
both.
shit on you. Shivers
There's
is
one
the best
place-
barbecue. Shivers,
Mm.
man.
Yes. Yeah,
No,
you
because
got to
here's the
see
thing, man.
Shivers.
Because here's the thing: barbecue means a really specific thing in the Midwest. And like, I got down there, and they're like, "Yo, we have these barbecue spots." So they're like, "Okay, cool. Like, let's see it." And they're like, "We got some chicken that we put on the grill, and we put some barbecue sauce on top of it." I'm like, that's cookout food. You can give me some potato salad, and like, this is what we call a cookout. That's not barbecue. Like, if it's not
Right.
like pulled pork, brisket, shit like that, it's not barbecue. And
well,
like, love.
Are you
Miami.
coming down? Are you coming back down to Miami? Because we got to take you to Shivers with their burnt ends,
Not
their
soon enough.
briskets.
I need to though. I need to
Yeah,
take the
man.
family down. My kids have never. They need to fall in love with it like I did.
Yeah, man.
Well,
Well-
if you ever do come down here, we'll take you down to Shivers. And look at this. And Manny is telling me that I never invite him to my house. Manny, get out of here. Okay. Next time you're coming to my house, and then we're gonna go to Shivers. All right.
But like, here's the thing though. If I'm coming down, I want my seafood, right? And I'm hitting up like all my old spots. Like I'm going to the Rustic Inn. I'm getting ice cream at Jackson's, like out in Dania Beach.
Oh, Jackson's fire, yeah.
Dude. Like I'm trying to get my Cuban food. Like I'm barbecue's low on the list of things I want. When I'm going down to Miami.
I can see that, Danny.
Joe Stone crabs.
Okay. I can see that, Danny. Why would somebody come to Miami for barbecue when he's already getting good barbecue over there, right?
So you can see that we have a spot that's better than his.
I don't think it's going to be better than everything over there, Danny. There's got to be a couple places.
Here's what we're gonna do.
KC.
If when I come down, I'll hit you guys up. We're gonna go to Highlight. We're gonna go
Highlight. What the hell?
Highlight. No, I'm telling you. Look, man, I grew up going down to Miami when there was the Miami
Highlight.
I still Miami
commercials,
dude.
No, but highlights kind of big now.
Highlight's always been fucking dope.
It
was like me and like an 88-year-old Haitian dude and a couple of like OGs out there. But I took my classmates one time, like a whole crew of us went. None of us were from Miami. Just get rip roaring drunk for like $15 and just, screaming at the players. Like it was great. But we're gonna go to Highlight. We're gonna go like party at the Hard Rock.
Well, the Hard Rock looks completely different now if you haven't been here in a while.
Are you talking? Well, I'm talking about the casino, not the stadium.
Yeah, so am I.
Oh, okay. Has it changed? Well, I imagine it's been a while.
Yeah, super different.
Okay, because here's the thing is, the Hard Rock Stadium, I don't recognize as the Hard Rock Stadium. It's Joe Robbie.
Yeah.
I don't care that you put a roof on it. I don't care that we change the seats. It is always and forever Joe Robbie.
Yeah, I see that.
And there's a lot of people that feel the same way. So, Danny, we're going to get to it if you don't have any other questions.
No, that's it. We're going to kick KC's ass. And and I look, I don't go out on limbs very often like this, even though I did say back in the beginning of June that we're going to make the playoffs. I told you to stamp that and screenshot that tweet because I'm holding us to it. Oh, actually, before you do, I do have a question for the chat and for you, Chris, and David also. If we lose on Saturday, what does that say? Does everybody turn around and say we can't win without Messi? Like, is that what happens if we do lose on Saturday? Chris?
Of course that's what's going to happen. Of course that's what's going to happen. I mean, without a doubt.
That's going to be annoying as hell, isn't it?
It's going to be super annoying because I don't think that we're going to lose. If we do lose, it's not going to be because we don't have Messi. But that's what the narrative is. That's what the narrative is going to be.
David, you think the same thing? You're thinking that we can't win without Messi if we lose on Saturday?
Look, man, like you guys have how many players are out on international duty?
9, but like
you guys are missing like 7.
But but they're like all backups. Like everybody's overblowing like how many? Yeah, but still, like it's all backups. Robert Taylor already lost his starting job. David Ruiz is a backup, and look, and I like all these players, but he's a backup. Edison Ascona never sees the field.
Yeah,
Diego Gomez, I guess technically is a starter. Kermaki a starter. Callender is apparently playing for us. Who the hell knew that was going to happen? Like, I think we're good. So, and look at, stop putting up Bearded Fanatics comments, please. This guy's just.
Yo, if Messi's not playing, I mean, it's tough to deny the like crazy turnaround the team's had with him versus without him. You know,
sure.
So,
but I think Tata needs some credit also, because
I mean, Tata Martino's great, and Busquets is he's iconic. He's a great passer. Alba looks like he went back in time 10 years. I mean, he's like a whole new player. So
yeah. And like I said, Broward Heron said Dos Santos scares them, but apparently Callender's playing. And if Callender's playing, we're gonna win. Clean sheet. Chris, go for it.
All right. So guys, here we go. First one, you guys already know about this one. Here's a picture right here, David. You got to pick one of the 5 pieces of meat and one of the 6 pieces of toast. Go for it.
You will be judged by this answer. By the way.
Okay. Meat is number 2, and toast number 3.
Okay.
Okay.
All acceptable answers. All acceptable answers.
So far, pretty good, Danny. Now,
Mhm.
guys, chat, like I told you guys, I found another picture, and this one, my friends, is going to be a banger. So if you can chime in your opinion as well. So we're going to go with this brand new poppy right here. Are we going with a sandwich cut vertically or from top corner to bottom corner?
Diagonally.
Where are you going first? Oh, you're so terrible, Danny. Where are you going, David?
If this is for me, I'm going diagonal. If this is for
God,
like my
that's
wife or some of my
weird.
friends, I'm not even picking either of those, and I'm cutting it all weird just to fuck with them.
Oh my God, you guys are picking diagonal. Who picks diagonal cuts in their sandwiches?
I'm not gonna lie. When you told me about this picture, I couldn't believe that you would say that you're gonna cut that vertically. Who cuts their sandwiches like that?
I cut every single sandwich vertically, every single one. There's never one sandwich I've ever cut from corner to corner.
You're like an extraterrestrial. Who does that? Look, nobody in the chat has said that they cut it vertically.
Wow,
You're like the
I
weirdest
can't believe
person on
it.
earth.
I agree with
Wow,
Mitch. Corner bites are more ergonomic.
Wow, these guys are wild in here, man.
And if I
Not
could be
one
honest with you-
person has picked vertical cut, bro.
No, I cut it diagonally for my kids, and when I do one for myself, I just don't cut it. So
But that's a diagonal, man. What? I'm not a weirdo, guys. That's the new picture for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the extra content that we're bringing you guys.
you want that hardcore Inter Miami content? Come over here. That's what we're bringing, baby. All right. Sorry. All right. So, David, man, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you on the short notice, jumping in and joining, talking to us. It was really fun. Let the people know where they can find you. The Miami fan through and through. Rock the headgear for us. Awesome. So, go ahead and give them a follow. Where can they find you? Oh, that's right. But you're not on Twitter, so
I'm not on Twitter, so you can't come after me. But I write for the Kansas City Soccer Journal. I usually do a lot more in-depth pieces, but we do some cool stuff. And then we have the Shades of Blue Soccer Show. And I don't know how many of your fans are going to care that much about it, but we have a good time. We're not talking about kind of like the sandwich cut thing. You know, we had a long discussion about burritos versus tacos and some of the more nuanced stuff.
Isn't it the same thing?
You know, that
I've
was
had
kind
this
of the debate. That was
It's
kind of the debate.
absolutely
The same
not
thing.
The same thing. It's
That was kind of the
absolutely
debate.
not.
It's just easier to eat a burrito because it's closed in. That's why I prefer a burrito. A taco is messy. It like falls all over the place. So I will take a burrito all day, and it's the same exact thing.
I mean, that's kind of the debate we had. So,
Burritos
guys,
are tacos, Sean.
Thank you so much for having me. You know, I
No.
always love talking soccer, and like, you know, I love Miami. I really do, and it always brings me so much like happiness in my heart to talk about a place that I lived and I love. So thank you guys so much for having me.
Oh man, really appreciate
Yeah, it
you
was
joining
phenomenal,
us.
man.
And you heard whether you could find him. Unfortunately, he's not on Twitter because he says that he thinks he might get canceled. So he just does just the shades of blue. So go ahead and check him out. Any final thoughts, Chris?
You guys are freaking weirdos cutting your sandwiches diagonally. UFOs exist. Burritos and tacos are completely different. And see you guys on Saturday. Put your thumb to work.
Vamos.
We're gonna have to like just branch off and start like a whole another like podcast just based off of all the weird shit that Chris likes to talk about.
Yeah, we do.
All right. So if you are listening on audio, thank you for listening all the way to the end. Please give us 5 stars, comment, review, all that other good stuff, share. And if you are watching on YouTube, thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please like and subscribe. And if you were part of the chat, as always, you guys are by far the best part of the show. We really appreciate you joining in. And we'll be back on Saturday night post game. It's a home game, so you know how that goes. We actually are season ticket holders, so we go to the games. We drive back, takes about an hour. So we'll be on here post game about an hour after the game is over. So until Saturday night, have a good one. Peace.